Day. There's lots lined up for you on this edition, but let's get you started with the headlines. Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina sentenced to death for crimes against humanity committed last year's student-led protests. Sheikh Hasina lashes out at Yunus regime over the ICT verdict, calls it rigged, orchestrated by an unelected government which wants to eliminate the Awami League. Awami League vows to fight the Sheikh Hasina verdict in the streets of Bangladesh. Party in a statement says millions of its workers are ready for the war that's coming. After landslide victory, NDA's oath-taking ceremony likely on 20th at Patna's Gandhi Maidan. Lalu Prasad Yadav's family feud intensified. Rohini Acharya alleges insult over kidney transplant. Tej Pratap comes out in support of his sister. Breakthrough in the Red Fort blast case. NIA arrests Umar Nabi's aide Amir Rashid Ali for conspiracy with the bomber. Accused sent to 10-day custody. Army Chief General Bhupendra Dwivedi warns Pakistan says Operation Sindoor was just a trailer. At least 42 Indian pilgrims feared dead after a bus carrying Umrah pilgrims collides with a diesel tanker near Medina. Prime Minister Modi, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar expressed condolences. Let's begin this broadcast with some breaking news that's coming in. Investigations in the 10/11 blasts are now revealing that there was a divide within the terror cell. There are two stakeholders, two important members of this terror module, Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Umar Nabi. Reports are suggesting what intelligence agencies believe is that they were divided on what their end goal was going to be. Sources say the terror cell had no unified command. Dr. Muzammil used to supervise logistics and movement, but Umar Nabi wanted control over everything. Umar repeatedly threatened his colleagues for mocking Indian Muslims. He also kept a distance from women, is what we're given to understand. What sources are also telling CNN News 18 is that investigators believe that he wanted to be the primary ideological face of any activity planned. Dr. Umar Nabi, remember, was the suicide bomber that was driving the I-20 car that blew up outside the Red Fort metro station in Delhi on the 10th of November. Anshul, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Anshul, what more are we learning about this alleged rift between the two members, the two stakeholders, so to say, of this terror module?
Well, the information that has come in, it very clearly shows us that the manner in which this entire operation was going on actually for a very long time inside the university itself, and both Muzammil and Umar were the people who were controlling these operations. But as soon as the date of the operation started to come close, there were divides that were seen between Muzammil and Umar, is what has come out in the investigation that has been carried out by the agencies at this point in time. For example, there are a few examples that have been told to us by the agencies that are investigating the case. For example, there were multiple arguments that happened over identical drum barrels being moved via the EcoSport. Now, remember, this EcoSport was the vehicle that was registered on the name of Umar himself. It was his vehicle, but it was also being used by Muzammil to actually move some equipment for the logistical task that he was given in. And according to sources, Umar was in the habit of threatening colleagues, like shoot in the head, mocking Indian Muslims. All these things were something that were very frequently heard from the mouth of Umar. In fact, investigators also believe that he wanted to be the primary ideological face of any planned activity that is being undertaken. In fact, Umar also got upset when he came to know that his entire September plan was actually leaked by Muzammil to none other than Shahina herself. In fact, Shahina first met Umar in 2021, and from there their interaction increased. She characterizes him as an outspoken and obnoxious person, is what Shahina has told the investigators at this point in time. In fact, Umar used to make bad comments about the Indian Muslims and accuse them of hypocrisy for supporting their country, and the government, instead of supporting his cause of the so-called fight for jihad. So all these things were happening right at the very end, due to and this could eventually be one of the reasons why their entire plan failed, and Jammu Kashmir police was able to reach Muzammil initially, and then was able to make sure that all the planning that they had done over the past many months, like arranging the hydroxide, and then eventually also going ahead and somewhere or the other planning to make several IITs that should detonate at the same time across different parts of the national capital and different parts of North India as well. So this entire plan was spoiled probably because of the infighting that had started between Umar and Muzammil, and somewhere or the other, both of them wanted to be the face and take the credit, so-called credit of any instances that could have followed post if at all their plan had come to a success.
Right, Anshul, do stay on with us, because even as we are seeing that divide within two members of this terror module, there are fresh inputs that CNN News 18 is decoding here. And this is true with one of those members, that is Dr. Muzammil, a female doctor originally from Lucknow. Her links to Muzammil are also under the scanner. She holds an MD in pharmacology, has studied in a college in Kanpur, later worked with the Motilal Nehru Medical Institution as well. She is now under the scanner, who is believed to be living in Faridabad. She lived in an Al-Falah linked to BHK flat, which Muzammil often visited, is what we're learning. Anshul continues to be with us, getting us more details. Anshul, what more can you tell us? Who is this mystery female doctor?
This is Dr. Hasina that we are talking about, and Dr. Hasina, who has been arrested by the agency Jammu Kashmir Police at this point in time. She was also a very integral part of this entire group. In fact, in July 2025, Muzammil had told her that Umar had planned something spectacular to be done in September. She is originally from Lucknow and was currently working out here at Al-Falah University in Faridabad. Her father was also a trained neuropathy or homeopathy doctor. And initially, she got married in the year 2013 and then moved with her husband and sent to Saudi Arabia in 2014. But over time, she returned back to India and ultimately divorced her husband in 2023 itself. Remember, the initial divorce that happened between her and her husband was finalized under Sharia law itself, and the custody of the three sons went to her then husband Sharik Khan, who was an electrical engineer. In fact, in her investigation that has happened, she has stated that her marriage ended because her husband was unfaithful, and she traveled in Saudi Arabia and Dubai for the past many years. Her passport is currently being renewed. In fact, in Faridabad, she lived in a faculty provided 2 BHK flat, which was inside the Al-Falah University itself. In fact, remember the Swift vehicle that was recovered. That Swift vehicle also belonged to her, and this was the initial tipping point from where the police got to know that something big was being planned. Because remember, in that Swift vehicle itself, the assault rifle was recovered. Along with that, 83 magazines were also recovered from that vehicle itself. But it was not only this, but she also used a Vio laptop. And this was one laptop that was used by Muzammil and Shahina, both by both of them. And after discovering the weapons, she disposed of the bag. The next day, placing it into a lift cavity, and she also told the police that due to her age, she is not interested in forming any personal relationship. But she says that Muzammil tried to get close to her once as well, and she also knows the time of the Muzammil arrest when Umar was at inside the hospital itself, and since then they went into panic and eventually decided to go ahead and carry out this entire incident with whatever material was left with them.
Right, Anshul, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. The investigation is only unraveling, but unfortunately, politics is also playing out on the sidelines. After PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti linked the 10/11 Red Fort blast to what she called was the centre's failure to stabilize peace in Kashmir, political tempers are now rising. Mehbooba Mufti had accused the central government of creating an atmosphere of fear in Jammu and Kashmir since 2019, since the abrogation of Article 370. She said that Trouble of Kashmir has now spoken out in front of the Red Fort. Congress leader Hussain Dalwai has too echoed that sentiment. Hussain Dalwai says injustice in the valley will have repercussions, linking the blast to Kashmir and demanding a probe into the RSS. He's questioned the alleged provocations by the Sangh. Meanwhile, the BJP has hit right back both at the Congress and the PDP, accusing them of vote bank politics.
मरकजी सरकार से आपने बहुत तबाही मचाई 2019 के बाद। ये जो दहशत का माहौल आपने बनाया, आपने दुनिया को बोला कश्मीर में सब ठीक हो गया, मगर आप देखिए कश्मीर का मुसीबत जो हमारी थी वो परसों रेड फोर्ट लाल किले के सामने बोल पड़ी। आपने वादा किया था कि आप जम्मू कश्मीर को सेफ बनाओगे, मगर आपने यहाँ की सेफ्टी तो दूर की बात है, आपने तो दिल्ली को भी अनसेफ कर दिया अपनी पॉलिसी से।
जिस ढंग से कश्मीर में अन्याय हो रहा है उसके कुछ उसका भी परिणाम कुछ होगा, ये मानना चाहिए। इलेक्शन आने के बाद बराबर बमकांड क्यों होता है, ये इसका भी जांच होनी चाहिए। आरएसएस जिस ढंग से प्रचार वगैरह करती है, ऋतुम्बरा का ये आया था, उनको वो छोड़े, तो क्या सरकार आरएसएस का भी जांच करेगी?
एक तो आतंकी के डॉक्टर पकड़े गए जो दिल्ली ब्लास्ट के पीछे थे, और दूसरी ओर है स्पिन डॉक्टर्स ऑफ टेरर, मतलब कि जो टेररिज्म को बचाने के लिए वोट बैंक नीति को राष्ट्र नीति के ऊपर रखते हैं। पहले महबूबा मुफ्ती ने कहा कि जो दिल्ली ब्लास्ट हुआ वो क्योंकि कश्मीर पे पॉलिसी जिस प्रकार की अपनाई गई है उसका रिफ्लेक्शन है, और अब हुसैन दलवाई कहते हैं कि ये इनजस्टिस हुआ है इसलिए ये आतंकी हमला हुआ। मतलब वो जस्टिफाई कर रहे, जायज ठहरा रहे। मतलब इनजस्टिस होगा तो कोई भी हथियार उठा ले और आतंकी हमले करे, पर सिखों ने तो नहीं किया नरसंहार के बाद, और कश्मीरी हिंदुओं ने भी नहीं किया।
Pallavi, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Pallavi, the kind of comments that are coming in from many leaders within the opposition are only giving more fodder to the BJP to train guns at the India bloc. The Prime Minister, remember, just last week after the Bihar victory, had tagged the Congress party as Maoist Muslim League. But is this the view of a few leaders within the opposition ranks? Many would tag them as loose cannons. Or is this something that their individual parties also stand by?
You know, even if it's a view of few within the Congress party where some of them are articulating it so openly, Poonam, the fact is that why is the mainstream Congress party still remaining silent? Why is it that has there been no open condemnation or comments which have come in, say from Mr. Dalvi or Rashid Alvi, who spoke to us a short while back? The fact remains is that terror has no religion, terror has no color, but clearly the Congress party at one point of time when the UPA was in power believed that terror did have a color, which was why they talked about Hindu terror also. It had a religion also attached to it. But you know, after that I've been noticing that the Congress party keeps on dilly-dallying, understanding that in terms of political nuances, they've often been caught on the wrong side. But even now when a comment is coming in, say from Mr. Dalvi or Rashid Alvi, I guess they're representing the constituency that they essentially come in from, or the vote bank they come in from. But the Congress is a national party. The Congress also claims to be a party which stands for national security and interest. Even as a probe is going on, while it's okay to question the government over certain issues about whether there was an intelligence failure, but by virtually talking in the comments which are coming in from Mr. Dalvi, in which the mainstream Congress continues to remain silent, you are already in a sense giving a clean sheet to the enablers, to the terrorists, by raising question marks over why do they become a terrorist in the first place. And that is where the criticism comes in from the BJP repeatedly, that why do you choose the wrong words, the wrong moments, and always come out with such a statement or allow those statements to come out which is only going to embolden, one, the terrorists, and second, countries like Pakistan which stoke terror acts against India.
Now, is this a controversy that the Congress can do away with? Because, I mean, this is something that every single time we have such attacks happen, unfortunately, somebody or the other within the opposition ranks, within the Congress ranks, comes out and questions the timing of it all, questions the RSS and the BJP's role, and that's exactly what's happening now.
Well, you know, initially, Poonam, we all saw that after the Balakot airstrikes took place, the surgical strikes took place, while the Congress party patted our armed forces, but after some time they started asking for proof. Now, that was one... that didn't do much for the morale of the armed forces. Now look at Operation Sindoor. After the entire political class backed the government, patted again our armed forces. Now they prefer to believe a Donald Trump who claimed that he engineered the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. And despite a categorical denial coming in from the Prime Minister himself on the floor of the House, Rahul Gandhi's speech inside the Lok Sabha started raising question marks. He preferred to believe Donald Trump, which is why the BJP says that, you know, this is exactly what countries like Pakistan and to a certain extent Turkey would be waiting for, that when your own principal opposition party, your LOP, who occupies a constitutional position, is going to start raising these points, how can you blame us? How can the blame of terrorism or acts of terror in India be put on Pakistan?
Absolutely. And politically speaking, this only gives more ammunition to BJP to train their guns at the Congress and the opposition. Pallavi, for the moment, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. In a stern warning, Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi sent out a clear message to Pakistan. He says Operation Sindoor was just a trailer, an 88-hour trailer, and if Pakistan's misadventure continues, India will not hesitate in teaching it how to behave. He highlighted how the swift action and defense capabilities of the Indian Armed Forces gave India a chance to give a befitting reply to Pakistan in the form of Operation Sindoor.
टेररिज्म या राज्य प्रायोजित आतंकवाद को बढ़ावा देते हैं तो ये हमारे लिए, भारत के लिए बहुत चिंता का विषय बन जाता है। क्योंकि देखिए, हम तो एक उन्नति की बात करते हैं, हम सबको साथ में लेके चलने की बात करते हैं। तो जो भी हमारे काम में रोड़ा अटकाएगा, उसके लिए हमें कुछ न कुछ कार्रवाई करनी पड़ेगी। अब जहां तक न्यू नॉर्मल का सवाल है, आप देखिए, हमने तो यही बोला है कि पानी और खून एक साथ नहीं बह सकता। ब्लड एंड वाटर कांट फ्लो टुगेदर, टॉक्स एंड टेरर कांट बी टुगेदर। यानी बातचीत, संवाद और आतंकवाद एक साथ नहीं चल सकता है। तो हम तो सिर्फ यही बोल रहे हैं कि आप शांति की प्रक्रिया अपनाइए, हम भी उसका साथ देंगे। जो भी आतंकवादी को बढ़ावा देगा, हम उसको जवाब देंगे। और हमारे पास अगर बैरंग चिट्ठी भी आई तो भी हमें पता है कि जवाब किसको देना है, हमें उसकी चिंता नहीं है। मैं तो ये कहना चाहूंगा कि मूवी शुरू भी नहीं हुई थी, सिर्फ एक ट्रेलर दिखाया गया था और ट्रेलर के बाद 88 घंटे में वो ट्रेलर खत्म हो गया था। तो आगे आने वाले हालात कैसे होंगे, ये इसके बारे में हम पूरी तैयारी करके बैठे हुए हैं। और अगर कोई ऐसा हमें मौका देता है पाकिस्तान, तो हम उसको भरपूर एक शिक्षा प्रदान करना चाहेंगे उसको कि कैसे एक जिम्मेवार नेशन को अपने पड़ोसियों से बिहेव करना चाहिए।
Siddhant, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more perspective. Siddhant, as far as the Army Chief's comments are concerned, this is what India's stance always has been, that any future provocation from Pakistan will be met with a befitting reply.
Well, that's right, Poonam. Operation Sindoor continues. Perhaps that's the message from the Army Chief. In fact, he also said that we believe in peace. If you will maintain peace, perhaps we will respect that. But if you will do any kind of activities, perhaps it will be dealt in the same manner. So it's the response coming from the Army Chief. Perhaps this morning he was speaking at Chanakya Dialogue in the national capital when he was asked about Operation Sindoor and situation with Pakistan, to which he said that Operation Sindoor continues, and in fact India knows how to give befitting reply to Pakistan. In fact, he also went on to blame Pakistan for the cross-border terrorism, and he says that Pakistan still is into the business of cross-border terrorism. So a very important statement coming from the Army Chief. Poonam.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. Shifting focus now to some developments taking place in Bihar. This is the fallout of the rout that the Mahagathbandhan had to face after the mandate came out last week. Following that debacle, we had a RJD meeting in Patna today. We're given to understand that Tejasvi has been elected as a legislative party leader, which comes as no surprise, of course. He will be the party's leader in the assembly. The RJD has maintained that the EVMs were misused, and that that's something that there was unanimity over as far as the RJD's legislative party meeting was concerned. Sources are also telling us what else transpired in that meeting, including the fact that the RJD believes that the Election Commission was compromised, that the EVMs were compromised and misused at the behest of the BJP. Similar on the lines of what the Congress party also believes, who has pointed in the direction of the poll panel for their debacle. Payal, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Payal, what more have you learnt? What else transpired in the RJD meeting?
What we do understand is that Tejasvi Yadav told all the leaders to keep a close eye on the results, because they said the results are nowhere close to what their expectations really were or what they saw on ground. Such a debacle was completely not imagined. So he's asked his MLAs and he's asked his party leaders to keep a close watch on this. And if at all they have any evidence which is available to them in terms of the misuse of the EVM or the voters not being able to vote properly, they should bring it to the fore, and the RJD top leadership will take this up at the highest level. But the most important thing that was told in that meeting, Poonam, was this, that Lalu Prasad Yadav said that Tejasvi ne bahut mehnat ki hai, has worked very hard to take the party forward, and he will continue to lead the party in the coming times as well. So big backing coming in for Tejasvi Yadav from his father, the patriarch Lalu Prasad Yadav, in terms of what the RJD really stands. Remember, the family has also been through a lot of turmoil in the last 48 hours or so, with the sisters coming out and claiming that, bad treatment was meted out to them as well. And Tejasvi and his wife are responsible for that. And at the same time, this backing coming in from Lalu Prasad Yadav at this time is going to be a huge boost as far as Tejasvi Yadav's confidence is really concerned.
Right, Payal, thank you so much for getting us. In fact, you were telling us what exactly transpired in that RJD meeting. But it looks like the common theme as far as both Tejasvi Yadav and Rahul Gandhi, or the RJD and the Congress, is concerned, is that there's very little introspection, but there's only blame that's being pinned on the BJP and the Election Commission.
Well, of course, it's always the case. The Prime Minister, in fact, said that, every time that they lose an election, they want to blame the Election Commission of India. But it takes a lot from the Election Commission of India to hold elections in a country like this, which is so far and wide, not just geographically, but otherwise also ethnically, etc. as well. There are steps where are taken where even one voter, if he has to cast his vote, the Election Commission makes sure that that right is given to him. So blaming everything on the SIR, blaming everything on the EVM is a story which has been there of the past as well. People have rejected it because people have not given the mandate to these parties that are only finding a blame game as well. The BJP has shown that work actually works on ground. Nitish Kumar's name, the BJP's excellent election management, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's overarching name, that's actually been the script as far as the BJP's victory is concerned, and the NDA's victory is really concerned, with everybody coming together and their representation from all castes.
Right, Payal, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. In fact, these are visuals that we are accessed here on CNN News 18 that you see on your screens. This is that image from inside the RJD Legislative Party meeting where Tejasvi Yadav was elected as the Legislative Party leader. That, of course, comes as no surprise. Whether he is going to be the leader of opposition in Bihar, that's something that we will have to look at, given how abysmal the numbers are both for the RJD and the Congress Party. Is that something that will be accorded to them or not? That's something that we will have to wait and watch out for. Shifting focus from Bihar to West Bengal, where there seems to be a showdown between the governor and the ruling TMC. West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose spoke to CNN News 18 after TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee stoked controversy after saying that Ananda Bose and the Raj Bhavan were providing arms and ammunition to BJP leaders. Governor has denied allegations, saying that he will now seek legal costs over false allegations against him and the Raj Bhavan. Banerjee, remember, had alleged that Governor Bose should stop giving shelter to criminals, referring to BJP leaders. He said that the Raj Bhavan should stop giving them weapons to kill TMC workers. C.V. Ananda Bose in return said that Banerjee's allegations were inflammatory, explosive and irresponsible. The governor has even demanded an apology from the Trinamool leader. Meanwhile, the BJP is upping the ante against the TMC, calling Kalyan Banerjee and the entire party an established and registered provocateur, saying that he had messaged the governor in the morning requesting him to kindly ignore the TMC MP.
Has threatened you with legal action. They're saying you're making such wild allegations which are unsubstantiated.
Last 3 years, this governor has made wild allegations against the state government, against Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, against police. He went beyond all boundaries. You know what is the role of the governor? Supreme Court has categorically said the governor will be the bridge between the central government and the state government. And the governor is not the agent of the central government. But what he is doing, he has become agent of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Every day his statement really provocating BJP peoples and the criminals, so that a serious law and order problem comes in. You know what he did earlier, 1 month back? All of a sudden he came here, met Home Minister, met President of India, giving list. What is this nonsense things? But a coin has two sides. You must see what the governor is doing. The makers of the constitution has never thought that these types of people will come in the BJP regime, who will act as a governor and they will act as an agent of the ruling political party of the central government.
Mr. Banerjee, push comes to shove. Do you have proof to show that he is actually shielded the goons, the BJP goons, and there is equipment? You also said that there are lots of equipments.
Earlier it has been done. All that criminals went there.
You have proof on this?
How can be there now? It was earlier there. It was there. We have seen that. Whether proof or no proof. If the governor acts beyond his boundary and make political statements, he must have courage to tolerate political statements. If you want to come, if you wish to, you will be governor, but you will behave like a politician. That is not tolerable.
He's also now challenged you and your party in the way that I'm opening the doors, let people come and see for themselves.
Fortunately, I have not said that arms have been kept under his cloth. Then he would have opened his cloth and would have asked the press and others to see, then nothing is there. Childish behavior.
A TMC MP, a sitting member of parliament, Mr. Banerjee, has said that you are actually giving some kind of credence, some kind of safe haven for BJP criminals inside the Raj Bhavan. You are storing weapons there, etc. How would you respond to this political charge that's been made by this TMC MP? And do you believe this has been made without the blessings of the Chief Minister?
See, the allegations made by the Honorable Member of Parliament are baseless, malicious, obnoxious, to say the least. These are not fact-based at all. As soon as I heard the allegations, I threw the dashboard open for public scrutiny. Any representative of the civil society and the media were welcome to come in. Many of the media men were there. They searched every nook and corner of the Raj Bhavan and found that the allegations are highly misleading. Today, I have cancelled all my official duties outside the state. I'm getting back to Calcutta. There will be a joint combing operation by the state police and the central forces.
On that note, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5. But news and updates continue here. Sarul, stay tuned.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
We're now getting you a CNN News 18 exclusive news break. We're learning that the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has now issued a firm denial after a video of him surfaced online claiming that he'd said that more Hindus are joining the ISIS than Muslims. Doval has now told CNN News 18 that he never made such a statement, calling this viral clip a likely deep fake that was aimed at manipulating public opinion. Doval has also told CNN News 18 that the media tools are now being used to distort national security. So putting everything on record, there is NSA Ajit Doval speaking to CNN News 18 and also talking about how this video that is purportedly attributed to what he'd said, claiming that more Hindus are joining ISIS, is probably a deep fake, and he never said such a thing. My colleague Siddhant is with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, NSA Doval making things clear and also putting into perspective this particular video that's been doing the rounds, possible deep fake.
Well, that's right. In fact, NSA Doval has spoken to CNN News 18, and in fact, NSA Doval issues categorical denial flags over this deep fake video getting circulated. In fact, NSA Ajit Doval has clarified that he never made this statement claiming more Hindus are attracted to ISIS than Muslims. He indicated that the circulating clip is likely a deep fake manipulation. Doval, in fact, told CNN News 18 that media tools are now being used to distort national security. The clip surfaced in the middle of increased geopolitical tensions and domestic polarization. He says that this is an attempt to target India's counter-terror narrative. Such a fabricated statement directly attacks India's long-standing counter-terrorism position. This is against ISIS recruitment in India, has been limited, monitored, and inspired by global jihadi propaganda. The deepfake appears designed to inflame domestic political divides by falsely suggesting that the NSA is making communal comparisons. The operation fits the broader pattern of AI-generated misinformation campaigns. So in fact, in the past also, Manoj Gupta has been reporting on this particular subject, that how Pakistan ISI perhaps has been, making such deepfake videos, perhaps with the aim to do communal divide in India, and perhaps this video of NSA Doval also, which is getting circulated, is an AI-generated video. It is fake. It is a deepfake video, and now this clarification is coming from nobody else but NSA Ajit Doval himself.
Right. Also, Siddhant, way back in 2014, I believe, more than 10 years back, NSA Doval had, in fact, underlined on how fewer than 10 Indians are even keen on joining organizations like the ISIS. Do you think those videos, purported clips, also have been distorted to make it appear that NSA Doval, in fact, made this suggestion that Hindus are more keen on joining ISIS?
Well, that's right. In fact, look, in today's scenario where we may not be at war with Pakistan, but definitely ISI keeps attempting to fuel communal divide in the country. They keep they keep attempting to create some kind of a polarized atmosphere in the country, and that is very continuous, and that is very regular, which they keep doing. In fact, our agencies, our cyber security networks do counter such videos, do come up with the clarifications and expose these handles circulating such videos. But at times people, because the technology has become so advanced and has got evolved so much that at times it gets really difficult for anybody to perhaps understand whether this video is fake or real, and perhaps that is the case with NSA Doval's video as well. And since it was getting circulated, and in fact now we have this clarification coming from nobody but NSA Doval, and Manoj Gupta has managed to speak to him, and he has the version of the NSA Doval. It's a deepfake video, has been made to fuel communal divide in the country, and perhaps that was the intention. But now the clarification has come, and perhaps definitely the government of India should also be acting against such handles circulating this deepfake video of NSA Doval.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Siddhant. We also have Major General K.K. Sinha, who's joining us on the broadcast. Major General Sinha, this clarification that has come in from the National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval, but the claim that he's making that this video was a deepfake one talks about how these clips are in fact doing the rounds online, the kind of apparatus that is at play to build a narrative of something that was never said.
Good morning, Jahan. Yeah, these are deepfake videos, basically a media tool now, which is AI generated and try to create, a narrative which is absolutely false. And absolutely, I think, it gives you a chance. I look at it in a two ways. First thing, that you are, the media is exposing that, these are absolutely a narrative someone wants to create it. And especially when the time of reckoning is there for the India, when we are going through a very tough time, what we see, what is happening after the daily blast, the way, getting exposed. So these people, this is one way. And the second thing, it will give you much focus to that narratives can't be, actually you have this much. I think someone from your channel has spoken to, NSA Ajit Doval. In spite of the fact that, the people who go for these deepfake videos, they know that it will get exposed. But, they do it. So it can be used by us also as a tool to further, go and reinforce what exactly is happening in India. Because it is happening all over pan-India. What happened in Faridabad, it's connections you see more or less in all states. It is in Pathankot, it's getting into UP, it is getting in Jammu and Kashmir. So this is the time, we have to use it in our way. Let them make the details. Everyone understands that in national, in any video, NSA Ajit Doval can't give it. If anyone just thinks coolly, you are saying, see this video, they know this is a deepfake. But when you, through media and everyone, creates and reinforces this exactly what is happening, it reinforces what the India is doing and the security forces are doing to defeat the design of, not only Pakistan, but there are deep states also involved of many countries.
Richard Hasina,
Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death by the International Crimes Tribunal in Dhaka after the court convicted her of crimes against humanity linked to last year's student-led protests that ultimately triggered the collapse of her Awami League government. Hasina, who's in exile in India, was tried in absentia. The tribunal declared Hasina guilty on 3 counts. First, committing crimes against humanity by incitement. Second was the order to use drones, helicopters and lethal weapons. And third, the inaction amid mass killings. Sheikh Hasina, in an exclusive conversation with CNN News 18, had called the tribunal rigged, the judgment politically motivated, alleging that it was designed to eliminate the Awami League politically. She also contended that extremist figures in the interim government want her death penalty and that Bangladesh is suffering under the Yunus government. She went on to say that the International Courts Tribunal was created to scapegoat the Awami League instead of seeking the truth. She mentioned how Hindus, minorities and women are under attack under Mohammad Yunus. She contended that Islamist elements were undermining a secular Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina has challenged the Yunus government to take the court at The Hague to the International Criminal Court and be honest. She says she will be acquitted and exonerated there. She says the interim government under Mohammad Yunus feared scrutiny by the International Court of its own rights abuses. She stated that the tribunal only targeted the Awami League and not the real perpetrators. Hasina went on to say that Mohammad Yunus came to power unconstitutionally with extremist support and that it was student leaders who themselves admitted to use of arson and sabotage last year. Sheikh Hasina, in fact, has challenged the evidence that was presented in her death sentence trial, calling the proceedings and the evidence against her politically motivated and fabricated. Her first reaction after the verdict was to denounce the tribunal as a mock trial orchestrated by the Yunus-led interim regime, asserting that the evidence, including audio recordings and witness testimonies, was either manipulated or selectively edited to justify a predetermined outcome. So is this the end of the road for Sheikh Hasina? Sheikh Hasina, of course, cannot appeal from here on. She defied the tribunal's order to face trial, which is why she does not get any more appeals. Sheikh Hasina cannot avail the right to appeal because she is a fugitive as per the Bangladesh government. She's been in exile, she's been in India for the last 1 year. Only those held or those who surrender qualify for an appeal, and because she is the fugitive running from the law as far as the Bangladesh government is concerned, she does not get any more legal recourse. The appeal must be lodged within 30 days of the verdict, which she still would have time, but the court or the Bangladesh administration is unlikely to entertain that. The appellate division must dispose within the next 60 days too, but that seems like an unlikely proposition.
আজ যে রায় ঘোষণা করেছে এ রায়কে বাংলার জনগণ প্রত্যাখ্যান করে এই রায়কে বাংলার জনগণ মানে না মানবে না সারা বাংলাদেশে সকাল সন্ধ্যা শাটডাউন পালিত হবে এবং আমরা পরিষ্কারভাবে বলতে চাই অবৈধ ইউনূস সরকার যতক্ষণ পর্যন্ত না স্টেপ ডাউন না হবে ততক্ষণ পর্যন্ত আমাদের সংগ্রাম আমাদের লড়াই আরো তীব্র থেকে তীব্রতর হবে
You have been a very close aide of Sheikh Hasina, working for so many years. How do you react to this?
This politically motivated case, and this farcical case has been tried by an illegal tribunal conducted by anti-liberation forces, judges, prosecutors, lawyers are all Razakar, Al-Badr forces and their children who committed war crime in 1971.
Sir, your name has also been there, and how do you react to that when it was stated?
The amount of words can aptly condemn this farcical, deceitful verdict. We reject it strongly. We condemn it, and you can say even the people of Bangladesh, we believe they will reject this verdict and throw it into the Bay of Bengal. Nobody will accept this verdict except Yunus and his loyalists and the forces close to Professor Yunus.
Let's open this up. Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, is with us. Major retired Shamsher Chaudhary, former Foreign Secretary of Bangladesh, and Syed Abbas, who's a political analyst, is with us as well. Major Chaudhary, let me begin by asking you, the kind of verdict that has been handed out today to Sheikh Hasina, to her family members, to her supporters, it comes as no surprise. But what do you see happening next?
Well, thank you. I mean, see, the law has spoken. And so one has to go by what the verdict of the court is. And this is an internationally recognized crimes tribunal formed under international laws. And I think it would have been more advisable for Sheikh Hasina and her people to have their own designated lawyer. They did not. So by not having their own lawyer, there was no real voice to, in fact, to speak for them. And so there's a government-appointed lawyer just because Sheikh Hasina and the other co-accused, like the former Home Minister and the former Inspector General of Police, these are the three people whose case was being dealt with today. They should have had, will stand. And what happens is, I mean, traditionally, what has been the practice, I think everywhere we have seen this, in Bangladesh perhaps more so, that those who are sentenced as guilty by any court, historically we have seen this, they always say this is a sham trial, this court is not have no legal standing, this court has no legitimacy, and then those verdict that goes in favor of them, they rejoice, they have fun. What we are likely to see is some measure of violence by the supporters of the Awami League, which is, I think, the natural course that follows in Bangladesh. It has done in the past. It's already happening. It's happening for the last 2-3 days. People of Bangladesh want to see peace, and they want to see the elections being held in time, and a democratically elected government put in place. In the meantime, the tribunal will go ahead with its work, and we'll have to wait and see how these things turn out.
But Mayor Chaudhary, the point that you made about why that there was no lawyer present, the fact that Sheikh Hasina remains in absentia, she is in exile, but they don't consider this court as legal at all, which is why they don't want to participate.
No, as I said, that is their opinion. And this is an opinion that anybody who has been found guilty in the past, in any court, whether it's a special tribunal or the High Court or Appellate Division of the Supreme Court, they always say we don't accept this verdict. There's not enough evidence. The evidence has been, manipulated, etc. This is the standard language with the legal system in Bangladesh. It is happening over a long period of time. And so the reaction from the Hasina supporters is not anything new. I mean, this has been happening before. So this is just a continuation of what we've seen in the past.
But if this continues, Veena Sikri, then it could be trouble for India, or at least India needs to be wary of that. There could be a spillover effect. We did see the kind of protests that broke out, which led eventually to the fall of Sheikh Hasina's government. What followed after that, the kind of attacks that we saw, especially on minorities. Do you see something similar happening once again?
Well, I must first of all say to former Foreign Secretary and my good friend that I don't think that anybody would accept that this particular ICT, International Crimes Tribunal, was legally constituted, because the ICT was created by a mandate of a 1973 Act exclusively to try people who perpetrated war crimes in the 1971 Liberation War. There was absolutely no mandate for this ICT beyond that, and there is no parliament right now that could have given this mandate. But immediately after Mohammed Yunus took over as the interim regime chief advisor, he has completely weaponized the judiciary. All the lawyers from the all the judges, the judiciary members from the Supreme Court downwards were forced to resign, either by mobs surrounding them or by attacks on their homes, including all the ICT judges. So a vacuum was created in which an interim regime which has no constitutional powers to appoint people to these posts went ahead and appointed their own chosen people, mainly with background of the Jamaat-e-Islami, which is the real force controlling everything in Bangladesh today. And then they went ahead and decided to try Sheikh Hasina. So I don't think at all that the question of a legal court can apply to the ICT, because it is clearly a kangaroo court. Secondly, I think even the lawyer that Sheikh Hasina has appointed was not allowed to take part there. And finally, I think even the evidence, there is no evidence. You say 1,400 people have died. Where are the names? Where are the post-mortem reports? When did they die? So many of them are shown having died after 5th of August or on the 5th of August after Sheikh Hasina left the country. So you can't really blame her for something that has happened after she has left the country. And there's so many lacuna in the whole way in which the fastest ever trial conducted in Bangladesh over the last 54 years. I don't think that any kind of credence can be given. And the second part of it is that the actions done by the Yunus regime themselves, that means, people, the so-called students who were actually all Islami Chhatra Shibir, attacking police stations, 400 of them, killing policemen, they still haven't got the police force back. All these, there's no trial for any of those acts because they have given themselves indemnity. They have indemnified themselves against these acts. So there is really a completely one-sided effort at showing that, everything was happened. Now, for example, when you say that to face a law and order situation in the country, the Home Minister or the Prime Minister asked the police to take action and to ensure that nothing goes out of thing. And this can, on times, include orders to kill. Even today in Bangladesh, under the interim regime, they themselves issued orders to kill. And said, if anybody disturbs the peace, kill them. These were the kind of orders issued today. So I don't think that this one-sided kind of a trial is going to get any kind of international credence. In the International Criminal Court in The Hague, Sheikh Hasina's lawyers, a group in England, a legal group in England, they have filed a case there. Some of Army League members have filed a case there.
Yes.
You want all the issues to come up together. And I think that's the only fair verdict you can have, that let all the aspects be tried together. What happened before 5th of August, what happened during 5th of August, after 5th of August, after 8th of August, all those things should come up.
And until then, Veena Sikri, what does India do? What are India's options? Because Dhaka obviously will be pushing for India to send her back.
No, so let me explain on that as well. There has been a statement by the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Bangladesh saying this verdict is there, now send her back. I must tell you that any extradition treaty, and we do have an extradition treaty with Bangladesh, is a very complex process. So when a formal extradition, no formal extradition request has been received from Bangladesh so far, maybe a one-liner of a note verbal or something, that is not a formal extradition request. When a formal extradition request is received, it has to be accompanied by the full version of what happened in the court, the reason why the verdict was given, all the evidence, everything has to be presented to the government from whom you are asking for the extradition. And once that comes to the Indian government, in this case, because Sheikh Hasina is in India, then there will be a court case in India as well. The Indian courts will try and see whether that whole trial process in Bangladesh was conducted within the rules of law, within the constitution of Bangladesh and all that. Then the decision will be made by the courts in India on the whether Sheikh Hasina can be whether the government can be asked to extradite her to Bangladesh. So I think this is a very, very complicated process. We have seen in other cases, we know that, for example, there are so many people who are being tried in the UK and so on, Indians, and it's years and years and years before, you can even say whether a person is going to be sent back or not. I think the question that you're asking on your channel about whether this is the end of democracy in Bangladesh, this is a very valid question, because there is no evidence that this government is doing anything under democratic norms and rules. We do know, for example, that even in Sri Lanka, where there was a Gen Z protest, even in Nepal, although, in Sri Lanka, the Rajapaksa government fell, in Nepal, the Oli government fell, but there is no question of banning any of these parties from taking part in the elections. But in Bangladesh, the activities of the Awami League have been banned under any kind of provision of the law or constitutional act. So I think that all these issues have to be looked at very carefully, and you cannot just wave a hand and say the quick trial and say, okay, now extradite her back. So there is no question extraditing Sheikh Hasina back to Bangladesh or sending her back. But the whole case has to be tried in India as well. And certainly all the evidences.
So Sheikh Hasina is digging in her heels. The Awami League also is, and perhaps New Delhi will too. But Syed Abbas, as far as Bangladesh and what lies in their future is concerned, one of the things that Sheikh Hasina did say in her statement after the verdict was that you compare the track record of what she has done as a Prime Minister and what has happened in the last 1 year under Mohammad Yunus, and that would talk about human rights excesses.
The fact of the matter,
But you see,
we need to understand the questions for me.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Syed
sure.
Abbas.
Thank you. The court noted, let us understand what the court noted regarding the Hasina case. You know, the Hasina government did not pay heed to students' demands, and instead of listening to the students, the then Prime Minister, who was Sheikh Hasina, undermined the movement. Not just that, she made derogatory remarks pointing towards the students and terming them as Razakars, a term used in a very derogatory manner in Bangladesh. And also let us understand, it is not as trivial as, with all due respect, Veena Sikri ji is being made. No evidence, no this, no that. Ma'am, lives have been lost. Enough number of lives have been lost. And who wasn't at the power of the epicenter? It was Sheikh Hasina ji. What did the International Court Tribunal come into play? She gave the order for the lethal weapons. It's all there on record, ma'am. Without an order from the head of state, lethal weapons don't come through. Shoot orders don't go out. Also, let us understand, in the aftermath of the derogatory remarks, and students, including females, burst into a rage. The court noted, adding that Sheikh Hasina then ordered the elimination of protesting students. Not just that, the judges also noted that the prosecution's witnesses proved that the attack on Dhaka University students was by Awami League wings, including the Chhatra League and the Yuva League. Also, if I can bring to your notice, the court exactly, let me verbatim categorically state what the court said. I open the court. Sheikh Hasina ordered law enforcement agencies to use drones to locate congregating protesters and helicopters.
That's a charge the prosecution made, a charge that Sheikh Hasina's team denied.
No. This is what the court has said.
Come on.
Not
The
the
court has,
prosecution.
but that's
No,
what
this is
what the court
just-
noted in the arguments made by the
Let me-
prosecution.
This is prosecution made these statements, but also the court concurred with it. These are the statements of the court.
Sure.
That Sheikh Hasina.
So we'll have to
ordered
see where
law
this goes from
enforcement
here, because
agencies
clearly both
to use-
sides are hell bent on what
Okay,
they are
I
saying.
will answer.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I'm
30
completely out
seconds.
of time. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I have to leave it there. I thank you so much for joining us here on this edition of Nation at 5.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
We're now getting you a CNN News 18 exclusive news break. We're learning that the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has now issued a firm denial after a video of him surfaced online claiming that he'd said that more Hindus are joining the ISIS than Muslims. Doval has now told CNN News 18 that he never made such a statement, calling this viral clip a likely deep fake that was aimed at manipulating public opinion. Doval has also told CNN News 18 that the media tools are now being used to distort national security. So putting everything on record, there is NSA Ajit Doval speaking to CNN News 18 and also talking about how this video that is purportedly attributed to what he'd said, claiming that more Hindus are joining ISIS, is probably a deep fake, and he never said such a thing. My colleague Siddhant is with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, NSA Doval making things clear and also putting into perspective this particular video that's been doing the rounds, possible deep fake.
Well, that's right. In fact, NSA Doval has spoken to CNN News 18, and in fact, NSA Doval issues categorical denial flags over this deep fake video getting circulated. In fact, NSA Ajit Doval has clarified that he never made this statement claiming more Hindus are attracted to ISIS than Muslims. He indicated that the circulating clip is likely a deep fake manipulation. Doval, in fact, told CNN News 18 that media tools are now being used to distort national security. The clips surfaced in the middle of increased geopolitical tensions and domestic polarization. He says that this is an attempt to target India's counter-terror narrative. Such a fabricated statement directly attacks India's long-standing counter-terrorism position. This is against ISIS recruitment in India, has been limited, monitored, and inspired by global jihadi propaganda. The deepfake appears designed to inflame domestic political divides by falsely suggesting that the NSA is making communal comparisons. The operation fits the broader pattern of AI-generated misinformation campaigns. So in fact, in the past also, Manoj Gupta has been reporting on this particular subject, that how Pakistan, ISI perhaps has been, making such deepfake videos, perhaps with the aim to do communal divide in India, and perhaps this video of NSA Doval also, which is getting circulated, is an AI-generated video. It is fake. It is a deepfake video, and now this clarification is coming from nobody else but NSA Ajit Doval himself.
Right. Also, Siddhant, way back in 2014, I believe, more than 10 years back, NSA Doval had, in fact, underlined on how fewer than 10 Indians are even keen on joining organizations like the ISIS. Do you think those videos, purported clips, also have been distorted to make it appear that NSA Doval, in fact, made this suggestion that Hindus are more keen on joining ISIS?
Well, that's right. In fact, look, in today's scenario where we may not be at war with Pakistan, but definitely ISI keeps attempting to fuel communal divide in the country. They keep they keep attempting to create some kind of a polarized atmosphere in the country, and that is very continuous, and that is very regular, which they keep doing. In fact, our agencies, our cyber security networks do counter such videos, do come up with the clarifications and expose these handles circulating such videos. But at times people, because the technology has become so advanced and has got evolved so much that at times it gets really difficult for anybody to perhaps understand whether this video is fake or real, and perhaps that is the case with NSA Doval's video as well. And since it was getting circulated, and in fact now we have this clarification coming from nobody but NSA Doval, and Manoj Gupta has managed to speak to him, and he has the version of the NSA Doval. It's a deepfake video, has been made to fuel communal divide in the country, and perhaps that was the intention. But now the clarification has come, and perhaps definitely the government of India should also be acting against such handles circulating this deepfake video of NSA Doval.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Siddhant. We also have Major General K.K. Sinha, who's joining us on the broadcast. Major General Sinha, this clarification that has come in from the National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval, but the claim that he's making that this video was a deepfake one talks about how these clips are in fact doing the rounds online, the kind of apparatus that is at play to build a narrative of something that was never said.
Good morning, Jahan. Yeah, these deepfake videos are basically a media tool now, which is AI generated and try to create, a narrative which is absolutely false. And absolutely, I think, it gives you a chance. I look at it in a two ways. First thing, that you are, the media is exposing that, these are absolutely a narrative someone wants to create it. And especially when the time of reckoning is there for the India, when we are going through a very tough time, what we see, what is happening after the daily blast, the way, getting exposed. So these people, this is one way. And the second thing, it will give you much focus to that narratives can't be, actually you have this much. I think someone from your channel has spoken to, NSA Ajit Doval.
Speco and HDFC Sky make money matter.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The 2025 Bihar Assembly elections have delivered a dramatic verdict. A thumping win for the NDA. The Mahagathbandhan is reeling after suffering a jolt like never before. RJD saw its tally slashed to just 25 seats this time, while the Congress was reduced to single digits, its worst performance in years.
Once at the center of the political scenario in Bihar, the RJD now finds itself in a position where the seat count has collapsed.